Kyle, and today I'll be discussing about the subphylum Vertebrata, and an uncommon species and its basic ecology. So to start, the subphylum Vertebrata are animals with a vertebral column and a central nervous system. They also have a hepatic portal system and chambered hearts. So this subphylum actually includes two major groups. The first one, as we see here, is class Agnatha, which basically are jawless vertebrates. So as you can tell, we have two examples over here. The first one is the hagfish, and the second one are the lampreys. Okay, so for our second major group, we have Gnathostomata, which are basically vertebrates with jaws. So as you can tell here, for example, we have the Mola with a functional. I'll be presenting about the ocean sunfish, Mola under the subphylum of Vertebrata. So the ocean sunfish, and its scientific name Mola, was first described by Linnaeus in 1758, and it's known by many names such as the giant sunfish, headfish, and moonfish. It is recognized as the heaviest bony fish in the world, excluding sharks, which are cartilaginous. So the name mola actually means millstone in Latin, referring to its round, flattened appearance. So taxonomically, it belongs to kingdom Animalia, phylum Chordata, subphylum Vertebrata, class Actinopterygii, order Tetraodontiforms, family Molidae, and genus Mola. So its common name, ocean sunfish, comes from its behavior of sunbathing at the surface. Sunfish often lie on their side at the top of the water to warm up after deep cold water dives. Okay. Alright, got it. Sorry. The Mola was just telling me about the geographical distribution. So, to share its insights, the ocean sunfish is a cosmopolitan species found in tropical and temperate regions of all major oceans, including the Atlantic, the Pacific, and India. It inhabits both the epipelagic and mesopelagic zones and can be found in areas like the Mediterranean Sea, off the coast of Australia, the Eastern Pacific Ocean, and is occasionally recorded in more unusual locations like the Black Sea. Going on for the habitat, so it actually spends most of its time hunting in deeper waters, often greater than 200 meters, but it also occupies the epipelagic zone where it can be seen at the surface to thermal regulate. Maybe that's where it's actually going, up to the surface. Temperature wise, it actually prefers warmer waters and is most often found at temperatures warmer than 10 degrees Celsius because prolonged periods in water at or below 12 degrees Celsius can lead to disorientation. I think I see one eating a pizza. I'm sure that's not real. So, coming to feeding ecology, so an adult mola has actually a really broad diet, including jellyfish, zooplankton, small fish, crustaceans, mollusks, and brittle stars. So they actually show an ontogenetic shift. So young individuals feed on benthic prey, while large adults feed mainly on gelatinous prey like the jellyfish. So they actually sometimes selectively eat the gonads and oral arms of jellyfish because these parts contain more energy. Okay, moving on to the role in the food web. So for mola, what they eat, their primary food source are the gelatinous zooplankton, jellyfish, salps, and stenatophores. Their other food sources go with soft-bodied invertebrates, crustaceans, mollusks, and small fish. Although it is a pretty sad topic, we do have to delve into what actually eats molas. So there are for adults, the primarily large predators like sharks, orcas, and sea lions, and for juveniles, various larger fish and marine mammals. But for ecological role, sunfish help control jellyfish population, preventing ecosystem imbalances. They actually act as hosts for parasites, which does not sound ideal at all. But don't worry, because these parasites are actually eaten by cleaner fish and seabirds when the mola basks in the surface. Now, I actually can't help but wonder if the mola are like us who love to make kwento with friends or they just kind of like being alone. They're actually a bit of both. So when they're adults, they actually are mostly solitary and they do roam open waters alone. But for juveniles, more like us, younger people, they actually travel in schools, which I like to see as barcadas for protection. And, maybe they actually make kwentuhan. So, for their group interactions, they actually gather at cleaning stations near reefs or kelp beds, which is one of the few times they actually congregate when they're adults. On a more serious note, we have to talk about the conservation status and the major threats of our mola. So, for the conservation status, the mola is actually listed as vulnerable by the IUCN, and the major threats are actually tied to human activity. So, here is actually a list of major threats, both by human related and natural predators. I'm starting off with the human related. So, the first one is bycatch, which is actually the biggest threat. In some fisheries, sunfish make up nearly 30% of drift gillnet bycatch. Next is plastic pollution. Since again, they're one of their primary sources of food is jellyfish, they mistake plastic bags for them. Next are boat collisions, especially when they're basking near the surface, directed fishing in regions like Japan, Korea, and Taiwan, and climate change, which alters their habitat and reduces prey availability. Next are the natural predators, which are the sea lions, killer whales, and sharks. So juveniles face many more predators due to their smaller size. So why classification and conservation status matter? Classification and conservation status are vital for the Mola Mola, the ocean sunfish, because they provide the framework for scientific study, ecosystem management, and protective action. This information is crucial for understanding the species' role in the ocean and developing effective strategies to mitigate threats like the bycatch and pollution. Fun fact about the Mola Mola is that the female can lay up to 300 million eggs, the most of any vertebrate. So here are all the references that I used for this presentation. Thank you, and thank you for listening to the Mola Mola.